Hello, horror hounds. The teapot in Beauty and the Beast sung of a tale as old as time, and what could be more classic than a tale of a scanner who's a cop pitted against another scanner who he put away but has now escaped and developed the ability to suck the life force from other scanners, making him more and more powerful to the point where he can confront his nemesis. That's the entire plot right there, ladies and gentlemen. Scanner Cop 2. Daniel Quinn returns as our scanner cop, Sam Stasiak, but he's no longer Officer Stasiak, he's now Detective Stasiak, replete with macho posturing, a leather jacket and his best grown-out Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon haircut. He's a likeable presence, and it is nice to see the character has grown and developed since the last film, especially given that Sam Stasiak is the only character to make a returning appearance in any of the Scanner movies. Now, because consistency and continuity between the Scanner movies is ephemeral, like the drug the Scanners take, Scanners are a thing. They're not sort of in hiding. Top brass know about his abilities. He's quite open about them, so he is the go-to guy for them for really tricky situations, like the hostage scene right at the start of the movie. They basically try to make him a Scanner Martin Riggs. But what of the baddie? This time Sam is up against a scanner who's sort of unique in that he uses his scanning abilities to drain the power from less capable scanners, assimilating their strength into his being and becoming stronger each time. He's like a Scanner Highlander. Sam is Scanner Lethal Weapon and his enemy is Scanner Highlander. It's pretty cool to see him sucking the life force out of his prey, and that's where special effects with John Carl Buechler really goes to town. Buechler is responsible for the effects in Scanner Cop and Scanner Cop 2. He directed Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, and sort of oversaw Jason's look there. To my mind, The New Blood is the best zombie Jason we've ever got, and I actually think John Carl Buechler is an unsung hero of special effects and movie effects. There are a lot of scenes of life force sucking, scanner life force sucking. It can get a little repetitive. Buechler tries to change up some of the effects because after about half a dozen times it can get a little taxing, but it is good practical special effects that gives you a bang for your buck. Whilst it's a little depressing that the franchise quickly, well, sort of instantly after the first film, devolved into scanner-related gore effects and away from Cronenberg's much more thoughtful original, there is absolutely nothing wrong with watching cheesy B-movie, straight-to-video fare for familiar character actor faces and gore effects, and ultimately that's what the majority of the Scanners franchise is, and we can embrace it for that, can't we? We've also become used by now, I should expect, the fifth movie in this series, used to the hodgepodge notion of scanner abilities and the side effects on scanners. Look, if you need your scanner or your scanner baddie at any point in the plot to suffer from side effects, then hey, scanners suffer from side effects. If you need your hero to pull their shit together to be able to defeat the baddie, then hey, the side effects aren't that bad and they can actually manage it quite easily because the plot demands it. Scanner's dependency on ephemeral has by this point become a real yoke around the necks of the scriptwriters. So basically it is jettisoned with a single line of dialogue. When Sam gets called in with a hostage situation, someone says something along the lines of, hey, I heard that these scanners have to keep taking this drug, otherwise they go wacky. And someone says, oh, he's got a special new sort of ephemeral which allows him to use his powers with no side effects. And with the stroke of a pen, we don't have to worry about that anymore. There's honestly not much more to say about Scanner Cop 2. It's as deep as a puddle, but I really enjoyed splashing around in it. It's dumb, but it's fun. The whole franchise very quickly devolved into I see a parallel with the RoboCop sequels. You know, a slightly lesser part two that then moves on to lesser and lesser sort of made for TV sequels. There's even weirdly with Scanners 2 and RoboCop 2 a sort of very strong anti-drug message to both of them. Some ham-fisted bits of social commentary in both of them. Loads of street punks thrown in some of these Scanner sequels. Uh, there are a lot of, you turn the corner and there's a mugging going on. It reminds me as well a little of the Death Wish sequels. It's sort of like we've got the template now, so let's get to the first mugging bit. Let's get to the first opportunity we can for our hero to get into a bit of argy-bargy with someone. So yeah, bags, purse snatchings, muggings, gang members. I'm sure that they fill these films, these type of films, from the mid 80s through to the mid 90s, much more than they ever filled any alleyways of New York or any other major city. Everything has become by this point really sort of Looney Tunes Scanners. It's cartoony, but it's fun. There are no real conclusions to be drawn. It's interesting for me to see that as soon as David Cronenberg's hand is off the tiller, any sequels become much more standard, generic fare. The same happened with The Fly 2. Now, The Fly was built for a sequel because the original Fly had a sequel. Scanners, the concept is ripe for franchising, but without David Cronenberg's very particular brand, I really don't. He's an ideas man. I really don't think he's a franchise builder. And as soon as he's off the scene, it's really interesting to see that the things people take away from his movies and tinker with, and it's the same with The Fly, are generally the special effects, the gross out kind of stuff. And one of the things I think we're learning as we move from film to film with David Cronenberg's work is that he's much more, from the very first early days with his exploitation movies, it's very much exploitation and gore driven by very particular ideas that are sort of unique to him, really, his own obsessions. So I'm not surprised he's never personally sequelized anything he's done, although he's revisited themes and maybe remixed. But now we'll come out of the Scanners ghetto and get back on track and focus with the work of the man himself, David Cronenberg, and well, let's call it what it is, his first true, unadulterated masterpiece. Next up, it's going to be Videodrome.